All right, it can be tricky to get your finances in order, even harder when you're juggling a hectic schedule, household duties, work, and more. Tonight, I spoke with local financial professional Mike Kojonen about ways to celebrate mom this weekend that can be reflected at the bank. Mike, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Erin.
Okay, so explain to me why moms are at a disadvantage sometimes financially.
Yeah, well, first of all, women make about 75% of what men make on average, not all the time, but majority of the time. So making less income, coupled with women are typically retiring a couple years sooner than men. Men are on average retiring at 64, women at 62, which means they're saving money for less time, not working as long. And also the U.S. Census Bureau reports of those married, women are 80% more likely to be widows. And so that means they're going to be on their own for a while, 5 to 7 years typically on average. So they're going to have to figure things out and be focusing on their own, financial needs. So those coupled with, those financial concerns while working or in retirement, moms, they need help.
Yeah, what that tells me is we have to make our money work even harder for us. How do we go about starting that?
Yeah, for moms, typically the first one is take control of your money. It doesn't mean take it out of the bank and run with it. It means actually play an active role in that. I see this in my own practice where women don't, if one of the spouses doesn't show up if they're married, typically it's the ladies stay behind because they don't want to be involved. I encourage them to be involved. You need to understand what the budget is. You need to understand where the money's at, what retirement looks like. So get actively involved with that. Right now, less than 1 out of 5 women even have a retirement plan. So that's less than 1 out of 5. So how are you supposed to know when you can retire and when you can retire and what retirement is going to look like without even having a plan in place? So get involved.
How do you go about making a retirement plan, or why is it, do you think, that so few have a retirement plan?
Well, first of all, they're not putting themselves first. First of all, I think moms are, like my wife, she's wearing 5 to 10 hats at one time. They're putting everybody else first, not themselves, where men can focus, on 1 or 2 or 3, things. We're not as good as being multitaskers as that. So, Mama Bear, they're getting, actively involved. And what we're seeing is moms are even helping their adult children out so much and putting their retirement on the back burner. And you can't do that. Your retirement accounts are meant for retirement. Do not take money out early to help your adult children. They have time to make mistakes and recover, where we don't have that as much time as we get older to make those financial mistakes. So help your children, your adult children, in other ways, but not financially. Don't be pulling money out of your retirement accounts. And I've seen it time and time again where people have come in my office, they pull out money out of their IRAs and 401ks to help their struggling adult children, and they have to work as long as their employer will allow them to work, which is sad.
You say so few have a retirement plan, but where can you start to build one?
Yeah, that's the key, is just start building a plan. And if you ladies, moms, you're like my wife, you don't want to be told what to do. You want to be told why you do things. And I think if you can get the vision, whether that's through your spouse if you're married, or that's with a financial planner, you need to see that. So once you see the vision, why it's important to save, you'll do it, as long as you can see the big picture. So start, getting that company match if you're working, and that 401k, start there at the least. As you get raises, keep building up those savings. As you make more money, put more money aside, and you can max out your 401k, 403b, if you're 50 and older, up to $26,000. We also recommend not just counting on those retirement plans through your employer, but have one outside of that. You can open up an IRA or Roth as well, and you could put up to $6,000 if you're under 50, $7,000 a year if you're 50 and older. So just start somewhere is the key.
Another tip that you have is looking at Social Security and sort of making that work for you, maximizing that. How should we do that?
Yeah, there's so many pieces to that. First of all, just understanding the rules of Social Security, where, like I mentioned earlier, women are retiring at 62. If you take Social Security at 62, you're getting the smallest benefit you will for the rest of your life, with just very small cost of living adjustments, which could hurt you. If you have longevity, you wish you never took it at 62. But we also find they don't understand the rules. It's called the earnings test. If you want to work and collect Social Security, before your full retirement age, the Social Security only lets you make a little less than $19,000 a year this year. So if you make more money than that, they penalize you and take some of that money away, your benefit away. So you have to be aware of that. You have to be aware that certain states like Minnesota does tax your Social Security. So when you're doing retirement planning, you have to look at that as well. If you're married, you have to find out what strategy works together with you and your spouse. You might be able to take half of your spouse's benefit. Like my wife, she's been a stay-home mom caregiver for most of her adult life. So her benefit is very small. She's going to get half of my benefit someday. So her benefit's so tiny. When we saw the statement, she's going to get a step up to half of mine. But it could also work, for you if you're married. But what if you were previously married? You might, and if your ex-spouse passed, you can get 100% of their benefit if you're married for at least 10 years. You might be able to get half of their benefit if they're still alive. Other things, like I just had a spouse, unfortunately, one of my clients, their spouse passed away, came to my office recently, and we had to look at it. She made it enough money to not be over that earnings test, but be able to collect Social Security and work and delay her benefit till 70, so she'd get the maximum benefit at 70. But there's a lot of strategies when it comes to Social Security. Find out what is best for you for your plan.
And you will find more money advice from Mike on WCCO.com.